I think that one of the greater struggles is that growing from having a national or from a local brand and that local footprint to the national brand. And I know that you have taken some critical steps in order to execute that. Can you give a few tips to our viewers about how some of the critical steps that they need to consider if they're going to go national?
Sure. You really have to put yourself out there. You have to get the exposure. You have to go to places where you're going to see and be seen by other people. For example, we are distributed in 261 Dillards across the United States.
Wow.
And that is a lot of work. But that came through us being at trade shows. Mm-hmm. So with us investing in it, a lot of times smaller companies, they won't go to these places because it's a cost. Yeah. You've got expense to for the booth and for travel and things like that, and companies won't take that leap, but you have to. You've got to get the exposure. You've got to get in front of the eyeballs that count, in front of those, in our case, in front of those buyers or the decision makers.
So you mentioned Dillard's. I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about how big Naples, from that little closet, company is now. So tell us a little bit about where you are, how many locations you have, and a little bit about the growth that you've experienced.
So we have 10 locations in Florida, and 6 of those 10 are in Southwest Florida. Oh, wow. So we're kind of a hometown favorite here. We are actually currently expanding outside. We're looking in North Carolina and looking to expand into the Southeast. Mm-hmm. And so that's exciting, getting out of our Florida footprint. I'm a native Floridian, so I'm partial to my home.
As you should be.
But we have so many customers, and we're in very high tourist traffic areas, but more luxury tourist traffic, and that's how we get so much exposure. So people come, they visit, they have a great experience, they see us, and then they connect with us online. So we have a huge e-com business. During COVID and lockdown, our e-com business went from normal volume in April to basically Black Friday numbers every single day for about 8 weeks.
Oh my God.
And we were understaffed, and
wow.
It was a heck of a challenge. Also, prior to that, to lockdown, we had started making hand sanitizer as clean as possible, mm-hmm. because the ingredients are really important to me. So that, along with soap production, kept us in business as far as an essential business goes.
So you weren't making hand sanitizer before, so you just entered that right before the pandemic happened. Talk about timing. How much of your business has been just feeling the sense that something needs to happen and acting on it?
Well, I read a lot. I keep very, very well educated on local news, national news, and global news. And in January, I was traveling through Europe, through Brazil, mm-hmm. and I came back and I was getting a lot of the European news. Mm-hmm. And so I knew what was coming and what the U.S. agencies were not really reporting on. So when I returned from my trip, it was more intuitive than anything, saying, okay, I really think this is going to be a thing, and paying attention to trends and what's happening in the world around me. I contacted all of my manufacturers immediately and actually went on a road tour and contacting my manufacturers and said, buy as much alcohol as you can find. Yeah. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, just buy it. Then 2 days later, I get calls back going, okay, what's going on here? We can't find any. And so we were fortunate enough that our manufacturing partners hustled up, and we were able to produce the instant we put a very, as clean as possible hand sanitizer online, because that industry is very nasty. It's mm-hmm. disgusting what is in some of these hand sanitizers and chemicals. As soon as we put it online, we sold 1,000 units in the first hour.
Wow.
So we knew that this was not going to stop.
Yeah,
so it was really a sense of intuition, taking a risk, and connecting a lot of dots that were floating around out in our world.